Hi everyone and welcome back to my fashion cupboard. In this video I'm going to show you how to make a Christmas wreath made out of Christmas ornaments or baubles. I do love a good bit of Christmas DIY. It's amazing how expensive these things can be in the shops, and I can show you how to make it with all things from the pound shop or the dollar store. Obviously you can spend a bit more on pretty baubles if you want to, but it's amazing what you can do with things that only cost £1. I have two different options here. Obviously you can use whichever colour combination you like. Choose something that goes with the rest of your holiday decor. But this one, for example, was made from 2 boxes of baubles from the pound shop, so my local pound shop, and 2 paper plates with the middle cut out. So I'll show you everything that you need, but I think it's really pretty. It's going to look absolutely lovely hung up, and this bow was just something I saved for my Christmas present, but you can add anything that you would like. Another one that I've made, this one here, is a red and gold theme. So again, all using baubles from my local pound shop. I also use these glittery red ribbons. These already came in bows, and these were from my local pound shop as well. They came in a pack of 12, obviously meant for wrapping presents, but look absolutely beautiful on this wreath. So without further ado, let's jump into the video and I'll show you how to make it. So to make your DIY Christmas bauble and wreath, you will need 2 gold paper plates. I've chosen the gold because if you look at the wreath you can see some of the paper plate through the holes in the baubles, and if you pick the gold lame it just gives a good effect. Obviously if you've got a colour scheme that's all red, then pick a red plate if you can get them. These are just paper plates, they come in packs of 10 from the pound shop. You will also need plenty of baubles in your chosen colour scheme. The bigger ones that you get, the less you will need, but I would recommend getting a good assortment of sizes. So as you can see, I used the large ones here, middle size ones, smaller ones, and then little tiny ones just to fill in the gaps. So assortment of baubles. For this wreath I'm going to use gold and red. Optional is a bow. I actually just saved this from a Christmas present, but obviously you can use ribbon of any type and tie your own bow. I've used a silver one on this wreath. You will also need a pair of scissors, some ribbon or some thick felt, a stapler with some staples. Finally you will need a hot glue gun and some spare glue sticks because, believe me, this can get messy. So before you get started I recommend putting something down to protect your floor or the table that you're using, because the hot glue does get everywhere and it's very sticky. So now that I've put something down to protect my floor, I'm going to start by cutting out this middle circle in each of my plates using scissors. I find it's easiest if you poke a hole in the middle and then cut straight outwards in 4s, and then once you've done that it's much easier to cut in the curve. So once you've cut your 2 holes in the middle of your 2 plates, the next thing you need to use is hot glue to glue them together and create one sturdy plate. And the reason I'm doing this is just to create a sturdier base for our wreath. So I'm going to start by hot gluing my 2 gold paper plates together. So I'm going to liberally apply hot glue all over the back of this. I'm doing the top first because it will dry fairly quickly. I'm just pressing that gently. Be very careful if you're using hot glue because it is, as you would imagine, quite hot. You can burn yourself. So as that side's sticking down, I'm going to do the other side. And just the same again, liberally apply the glue, pressing down. If your glue gun has a setting high or low, like mine does, make sure you're using the low setting. So next what you want to do is create your loop to hang your wreath from, and for this I'm going to cut some ribbon. You could just as easily use some thick felt or something similar, but I'm going to cut a piece of this ribbon and create a loop. And then find where I want it to go in the back. I'm going to use a stapler to staple it into place. So just holding it down and then stapling a few times, and will be nice and sturdy for hanging up our wreath. So I have opened all of my baubles and laid them out in a tray so that I can see what I have, and now comes the fun part. Before you glue each bauble onto your plates, you want to remove the top part here, which you can do by just twisting. It comes off fairly easily. And then what you want to do is take your glue gun, remove any excess glue, take your glue gun and apply very liberally to the head of the bauble. Put plenty of glue on this first one, because after the first one's on you can glue the other baubles to each other, but the first one has to be glued really, really well to the plate. And then just hold it there for a few seconds until it's adhered completely. Okay, and then once you've got your first bauble, like I said, you can start gluing them to one another. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to evenly distribute some of the red ones around and then fill in the in-between. So again, just removing all of these, and I'm going to do this for all of them now. So I'm going to take this sparkly red one. I'm just doing exactly the same thing, liberally applying the glue all over the head of the bauble, and then holding down for a few seconds until it adheres. I'm going to take a matte gold smaller one now. Again, same principle, applying glue all over the head of the bauble, and then I'm going to put it here, and what I'm going to do is add just a nip of glue in between the gold and red baubles and hold them for a few seconds. Don't worry about this stringy bit, you will get this from the hot glue. Once everything's dried later, you can make sure that to remove all of those stringy bits. Just going to re-adhere this, just make sure that everything's really stuck together before you move on. Now I'm going to take a nice sparkly gold one and do the same thing. Plenty of glue on the nib, on the top, and then it's going to go here, so I'm going to just put a little glue in between and hold it until it adheres. So as you can see, I've added 4 baubles and the wreath is starting to take shape already. I'm going to continue covering this gold plate with more and more baubles, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. I'm about halfway done now, so I thought I'd let you see what it looks like. So for the moment, this is my wreath. As you can see, there's lots of strings of glue that look a bit like spider's webs, but we can sort those out later. So I'm going to keep putting on the rest of my baubles and I'll show you what it's like when we're done. So I'm almost finished with this wreath now. I'm just going to glue down this final bow. I decided in the end to go for 4 strategically placed bows which were able to cover some of the paper plate that you could see underneath. So just taking this last one, all I did was apply a liberal amount of glue to the centre and each side of the bow, and then a little to this string. These bows were bought in a pack of 12 from the pound shop, really good value. And so I'm just going to take this, be really careful of the glue, like I said it can be very, very hot, and we're just going to glue this down more or less in the middle and just holding it for a few seconds until the glue adheres to the baubles on either side. As you can see, I've got the stringy glue again, but as soon as that dries it just peels right off. So that is my final bow on, and I'm fairly happy with that. Nice and sparkly. Moment of truth. This will be perfect in my kitchen for the holiday season. So all you need to do now is leave it to dry overnight, and then in the morning you can remove all of these little bits of spidery glue and hang it up and enjoy. So I hope you enjoyed this Christmas themed DIY. Look out for a Christmas bauble tree coming up on my channel next. Don't forget to subscribe for future videos and have a very Merry Christmas. Bye!